Hi everyone and welcome to the first chapter or IFIC. So in this chapter we are going to discuss about role of mutual fund sales representative. So in throughout this discussion, imagine that you are selling mutual funds and you are selling mutual funds to an unsophisticated investor. So what does an unsophisticated investor means? Imagine you're going to sell mutual funds to your grandmom who doesn't know much about finances, right? She has very low risk appetite and she doesn't know much about finances. So we are going to discuss what roles and responsibilities you have when you do that. So let's start. So as a mutual fund representative or a sales representative, you provide customer service. So as a sales representative, you have certain obligations. So you need to know your client. So KYC requirements, know your client requirements. So what can I think of when I see know your client requirement? So know your client means you need to know who your client is, what is the risk appetite they have. What do we mean by risk appetite? How much risk are they willing to take and how much risk is actually good for them? Like if your grandma is willing to invest in cannabis stocks, maybe she wants to do that, but based on her risk profile or based on her circumstances, she maybe doesn't have much of income, right? So she's retired, she doesn't have much new income coming in. So in that case, the willingness is there but the ability may not be there. So know your client means you need to know exactly who your client is, you need to know what is their ability to take risk, what is their willingness to take risk, you need to know their personal situations too. Okay, and one more thing, you need to make sure that there is no money laundering being done, right? So the money that your client is putting in, that is legal and there would not be any questions on that money going forward. So you need to know your client. Then you need to know your product, the product that you are selling. Maybe it's a stock mutual fund, it's a equity mutual fund, maybe it's a debt mutual fund, maybe it's a balance mutual fund that has both equity as well as bonds, maybe it's a money market mutual fund which is a short term mutual fund. We are going to discuss all these mutual funds later on, but you need to know your product before selling it. Okay, then ensure that your client only buys suitable mutual funds. So that is extremely important. So there is a suitability clause. So your client has to buy product that is suitable to them. You have to make sure or you have to encourage that suitability is enforced. And if you don't do that, there can be bad instances. So in recent times, there was a big hockey star. You can look this up. There was a big hockey star in Vancouver who sued his investment representatives because the investment representative sold products that were not suitable to him. So you need to avoid all these situations. So you have to make sure that client, if the person is buying from you, if it is an unsolicited order, which we are going to discuss, then you don't have to concern yourself so much. But if the order is flowing through you, it is based on your advice, then you have to make sure that the product is suitable to the client. Then you have to follow up. Why follow up is required? Because client situation may change. So pandemic is going on right now, maybe your client lost their job, right? So in that case, the client situation has changed now. So you need to keep on constantly following up with your client to see if their situations have changed and the products, are they still suitable to them. You have three types of responsibilities. There is a legal responsibility, only sell suitable products. Very crucial. There have been many instances where clients have sued their investment advisors because they sold them unsuitable products. So you have to make sure that the client understands what they are getting into and the product, if the advice is coming from you, the products are suitable for them. There is ethical responsibility to put the client's interest first. So if two products are there, I'll give you an example for that. There are two products, both are okay for your client, but product 1 pays you very high commissions, product 2 doesn't pay you that high of a commission. So example, let's say it's an exchange traded fund that has lower management fees, and it's a proper mutual fund that has generally higher management fees. So in that case, probably you would convince your client to go for a mutual fund, but you should always put your client's interest ahead of your own. So if a client is going to benefit by lower management fees, if the two products are exactly same, then you should put your client's interest first and suggest him the product that is more suitable for him. There is a professional responsibility. You intend or you try your best to provide the best service possible. So legal responsibility: ensure any investment you recommend is suitable to that particular client based on his income, his financial assets, based on his ability to take risk, based on his appetite for risk. Maybe the client is extremely wealthy but he is afraid of risk, so maybe risky products are not suitable for him, so you have to be concerned about that. An investment is suitable if it fits the client's goals. So what are the goals? What is the required returns to get those goals, right? So it should be suitable for the goals. It should be suitable for financial condition. So what is the financial condition of your client? Does he have a stable job, right? Does he have enough assets? How many dependents are there on the client? All that. Personal circumstances, what is the living situation and all of that. The investment knowledge: is it a sophisticated client or an accredited investor, which means he has deep knowledge of financial concepts, he works in the industry, or maybe he has worked in the industry or has a lot of past experience investing, or it is an unsophisticated client. For all our discussions, we are going to assume that it's an unsophisticated client. So your grandma who doesn't know much about finance. And risk tolerance: how much risk can he tolerate? All Provincial Securities Act makes this responsibility very clear. Now this is important. To enforce legal responsibilities, provincial authorities are so once again, in Canada, provincial authorities enforce legal responsibilities. So if you have any legal situation, that is province's responsibility. In United States, it is the SEC that does it, right? So there is a centralized body. In Canada, it is a provincial authority. So provinces have the authority rather than having a centralized body. There are few centralized bodies and we are going to discuss them, but mostly you have to remember that it's a provincial jurisdiction in Canada and it is a central or federal jurisdiction in United States. Then you must place your client's need before your own and therefore the need of your dealer firms at all times. So there are three levels. So you are there, your employer is there, and your client is there. So who has precedence? Always your client has precedence. Okay, then if possible you give your employer the precedence, and finally it is you. Okay, so always there will be three situations where the interest of your employer is different, your own interest is different, and your client's interest is different. In that case, always you have to prefer client's interest. This is particularly important when you are seeking to meet sales target or in expectation of receiving bonus or other compensation in doing your job. So there is a famous case in United States that was dealt with recently. It was regarding Wells Fargo. So due to the sales pressure that employees had at Wells Fargo, it's a bank in United States. So Wells Fargo did lot of mis-selling. So their advisors did lot of mis-selling. They sold products that were not suitable for their clients, but it was because of management, sales targets and sales pressure. So you should not fall for that. Always your client's interest is above everything else. Professional responsibility: you must provide the client best service possible. This can be accomplished only if you know your client, you know your product, and know that you have an obligation to refuse to sell an unsuitable product to your client. So if example, your employer is saying you are not meeting your equity mutual fund sales target, so you need to keep on pushing equity mutual funds. So if your client's situation is such that equity mutual fund is not suitable to them, you should not suggest equity mutual funds even though you have sales pressure from your manager. Okay, so under no condition should you sell unsuitable products to your clients. Compliance. The mutual fund industry, as with other financial sector products and services provider, is based mainly upon confidence and trust. So you have fiduciary responsibility. What does fiduciary mean? Fiduciary means it is not your money, but you have to act as if it is your money. Okay, you are going to make decisions that's going to impact your client's money, so you have to treat it as if the money is yours. The industry sets out rules and regulations for ethical conduct that cover compliance aspects of mutual fund sales. Compliance means following those rules. If you are not in compliance with those rules and regulations, you can be held financially responsible and can be subject to suspension, fines, dismissal from your firm, and banning from the industry. So know your client rule. So this is important for the exam. So you must use due diligence to learn essential facts relevant to every client and every order. So whenever a client puts up an order, you have to go back and think, do I know about the client? Do I know about his financial situation? Right? Every order you have to think, go back and think about it. If nothing has changed, you have already done the KYC, you can proceed with that order. But if something has changed, then you have to revisit KYC. So what is KYC? So you need to gather information regarding financial goals and objectives. What are the goals and objectives for which they are investing? Are they investing for their retirement? So you need to be safe about it. Are they investing for, let's say, an expensive vacation? You can take little higher risk for that. Okay, you need to know about their financial circumstances. What is their income? What is their asset? What is their obligations? How much do they earn? Right? What do they own? And what is the debt obligation, loan obligations or mortgage obligations they have? Personal circumstances of the client. Are they married? Do they have financial dependents on them? Investment knowledge. How much investment know-how do they have? What is their ability to tolerate risk and time horizon? If time horizon is long, so your client is young and he's planning for, let's say, retirement that is 35 years away. So then if time horizon is long, your risk taking ability increases. But if time horizon is less, your client is retiring next year, you cannot put all their money into stocks. Stock markets can go up and down. So risk appetite goes down. All of these are required to make suitable investment recommendations to your client. You will hear much about the suitability clause throughout this course. Okay. So next is knowing your product. So knowing your product means knowing the feature of the security that you are selling, the risk involved in that security. So example, if it is a stock market mutual fund or a stock market exchange traded fund, both of which we are going to discuss later on. But if it is a stock market related thing, you know that stock markets are going to go up and down, right? They're volatile. So in that case, you need to know what is the risk that the product has. Buying or selling charges, if any, right? Annual fees and charges associated with the fund. And this is very important. There is a good video that you can look up, right? How mis-selling. So it's a CBC documentary, right? In which they exposed what mis-selling, how mis-selling works in the mutual fund industry. So what were they doing is, annual fees are generally charged on the total assets you have under management. So let's say you have $10,000 in a mutual fund. So and the mutual fund is charging 1% of that. So they will charge you $10,000 into 1%. So asset management fees into the management charge. But in that documentary, they were showing that sales representatives were communicating that 1% is charged on the returns generated. That's not true. So I would highly recommend go to YouTube, just search in CBC documentary of mutual funds or banks, and you can see that they have exposed a very bad situation that goes on in some part of the industry. Not everyone does it, but there are few people who did that and how they were punished because of that. So you could see that. Type of income or gain that the fund generates, you need to be aware of that. Fund fact documents that are provided on websites. So fund fact means it is a document that shows everything about the mutual fund, right? It will tell you what is the objective, what is the investment philosophy that the mutual fund follows, where do they invest, what are the top holdings, right? What are the charges? Everything is given in fund fact documents. So as a mutual fund advisor, you need to read fund fact documents before recommending those products. Suitability, it means ensuring all recommendations are based on clients' unique personal and financial circumstances, investment needs and objectives. Time horizon is considered, investment knowledge is considered, the risk tolerance of your client is considered. You cannot sell products that are more risky if your client doesn't prefer risk. If your client is a person who shies away from taking all kinds of risks, then you have to, irrespective of what the situation is, you have to ensure that the products you recommend are less risky within the recommended asset allocation model. So asset allocation models are generally shared throughout companies. So they will tell you how much allocations to put in Canadian stocks, how much to put it in bonds, how much to put it in international stocks. So that asset allocation recommendation is given throughout the firm. So it is circulated amongst the whole firm. So you need to make sure that you are following that. Applies to both solicited and unsolicited orders. So I'm going to spend some time on that. There are two types of orders that are put through advisors. So one are solicited. Solicited means you provided advice to the client, and based on that advice, the client is putting an buy order or a sell order. Unsolicited means you did not provide any advice to the client, but the client itself, right, himself or herself is putting an order without advice from you. So in both the cases, you have to make sure that suitability clause is still applied. So the product that, even if it is an unsolicited order, that is you did not recommend the product but client is going for the product, you have to make sure you counsel your client regarding suitability. Okay. With solicited order, of course, it's clear. Whenever you're providing advice and based on that the client is putting some orders, you have to make sure that the orders are suitable. But even if it is an unsolicited order, you have to make sure that the order is suitable. If an unsolicited order is unsuitable, the BCO must determine if it is reasonable. So you have to go to the branch compliance officer, and then the compliance will decide can you go ahead with the order or not. Okay. BCO means branch compliance officer. So as a sales representative, help the client obtain suitable mutual funds based on the KYC information provided. Obtain information, judge the fit, explain misfits, suggest suitable alternatives, right, counsel them. Only discuss mutual fund products, no others unless you have a license to sell those products. So you don't, if you're a mutual funds sales representative, don't go ahead and start, let's say, counseling on segregated funds. Segregated funds are types of mutual funds, but they are an insurance product. So you can't do that. Okay. Incomplete KYC, refuse the order if the KYC is incomplete. Complex case or when budgeting is required, refer the client to a financial planner rather than taking on the responsibility of a financial planner. Your firm, most firms have financial planners in-house. So that's it with chapter 1. See you in the next class.